I'm Leslie Dellery, and you're watching Being Millennial-ish. This week's episode is a special two-part series on social media. When you walk into a restaurant or a coffee shop and you look around, you'll see a ton of people on their cell phones. A lot of those people will be snapping where they're at or checking someone's Instagram account or Facebook. And we all think that we have a healthy relationship with social media, but do we? In this series, we are going to have 5 participants go off social media for 7 days. They're going to figure out whether or not their habits are healthy, how addicted they are, and how social media actually impacts their general mood. In this week's episode, this is before the participants have gone off of social media. And then in next week's episode, you'll have to stay tuned and find out what they learned. How often do you go on social media?
I definitely go on at least a couple times a day.
Okay.
Probably in the morning when I wake up, and then a few times throughout work, and definitely on my commute.
Every day.
Every day.
I would say every single day. I
Okay.
use Facebook. I don't use any other social media except LinkedIn, but Facebook definitely every single day.
I used to go on maybe like once a day, but I kind of feel like now whenever I get bored at work, I just turn it on. Especially
Okay.
like Facebook and Instagram more so than the other ones for sure.
What social media platforms do you use?
I largely use Instagram and Facebook.
How many hours do you estimate you spend on social media a day?
I would like to believe it's no more than an hour.
Probably an hour.
An hour, maybe?
I think I was probably spending 30 minutes, probably on Facebook, and 30 minutes on Instagram a day, so an hour a
Okay.
day.
Probably 3 to 4.
That seems like a lot.
After you spend that time on social media, how do you feel about it after?
Pretty much every time I get off an app is because I'm exhausted. I'm walking through it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
it's just like information overload, and I'm just like, I just get bored.
I feel exhausted when I'm doing my work and I give myself 5 minutes to just relax and I go on social media. At first, like the first few seconds, like all the reward signals in my brain light up because I feel this rush of excitement
Yeah.
because I left my work and just I'm transported to a different world for just 1 second. After a few minutes, I realize, oh my goodness, all these people are doing amazing things and I'm here stuck with my work, and that's making me feel bad.
I'm really bad with keeping up with friends, catching up on them on like their Facebook, and then I'll be like, oh my god, you had so much fun. Like I feel like those moments are actually really important for me because like the physical present I lack.
I struggle with, there's some like acquaintances who have become kind of like lifestyle like vloggers, and they like post pictures about their outfits and like their perfect apartments, and it can definitely make you feel a little like inadequate or you're missing out. And I've actually unfollowed a couple people because it just kind of, I don't know, it's not real life. And so
Yeah.
I really try to just correlate who I'm following with like people I'm actually really interested in, believe like what's happening on their Instagram or their Facebook is actually what's happening in real life.
Are you more engaged after you post something on Facebook? Does that change any of your patterns?
I know that if I post something, I will have the urge to check who reacted, who responded, and that's why I just limit myself and say, you know what, I would be too connected to that post, to that little piece of information that I put out there, so I just say, you know what, no, not putting anything out there unless it's absolutely, I'm dying to do something.
Definitely like when I post something on around Instagram, I'll go back and check it more frequently than if I was just like perusing it.
Do you ever take a photo down if it's not getting enough likes?
I don't do that very often, but I have definitely done that in the past.
Okay.
No, I actually tell myself not to do that because I
Okay.
think that like that gets you in a situation where, again, it's just like you're completely depending on that.
Yeah.
And I kind of believe in like staying true to myself and just kind of doing whatever I think is me.
Yeah, I don't care that much.
If I take a good picture and I like check back on it and I only have like 12 likes, I'm thinking like, damn.
Why do you stay on?
One major thing is like my sister and my nieces and nephews and my brother and my niece live far away, and so I think it's just a great way for us all to stay connected and feel like we're a part of each other's day.
I feel actually a little bit more informed. It's
Okay.
a good feeling because I don't know, I like gaining the little weird knowledge, like those fun facts moment, and I feel like that's what I gained from Facebook.
Are you nervous about going off of social media for a week?
It's funny
Sure.
because there's one person that like I always just message on Facebook. I don't know why. Like I think we have each other's numbers, but we just use that. So I literally said, by the way, I'm gonna be going off for a week, so you should text me. Other than that, like I don't honestly. I think it'll be a little relieving because I think it definitely will free up time. It just made me realize that I go on it too much.
I wouldn't say I'm concerned about it. I'm anxious to see how much that void is actually a part of my life when
Yeah.
when like Facebook and Instagram are no longer there.
I'm really looking forward to just not worrying, kind of forgetting, because once you forget something, you're not preoccupied with that.
I'm assuming I'm gonna become much more aware of how often I actually do rely on it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, because I'm not on social media, maybe I'll get lonely and like plan something.
So you're hoping that
way.
it'll push you to engage in other ways.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Some interesting results already. Stay tuned, and next week you'll find out what these participants had to say at the end of the social media experiment.